This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and greetings. I am Samia Mohammed and you are tuned into Pulse of Africa News. Join us for a comprehensive coverage of the events impacting our region and beyond. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed welcomed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the National Palace in Addis Ababa during an official ceremony today. The two leaders held a productive tete-a-tete meeting followed by bilateral session with their respective delegations, focusing on deepening cooperation and advancing shared priorities between the two nations. During the visit, key agreements were exchanged, including the agreement on mutual administrative assistance in customs matters, the MOU on establishment of data center within Ethiopia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the MOU on UN peacekeeping cooperation, reinforcing the country's joint commitment to international peace and security. Prime Minister Abiy noted India's long-standing partnership with Ethiopia and highlighted that today's meeting underscored the shared commitment to expanding collaboration across multiple sectors for the mutual benefit of both nations. Speaking about his visit, Prime Minister Modi said Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, also hosts the headquarters of the African Union, which was admitted as permanent member of the G20 during India's G20 presidency in 2023. After welcoming me at Addis Ababa Airport, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali drove me to the Science Museum in the city. This museum showcases different aspects of science and innovation and how they can be harnessed for Ethiopia's progress, Premier Modi stated. He said he will hold detailed discussion with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and meet members of the Indian diaspora living in Ethiopia. Prime Minister Modi is also scheduled to address a joint session of the Ethiopian Parliament, where he said he looks forward to sharing India's journey as the mother of democracy and the value of the India and Ethiopia partnership for Global South. India's Ministry of External Affairs said the visit will reaffirm the shared commitment of both countries as partners in the Global South to deepen friendship and expand bilateral cooperation. Prime Minister Modi's Ethiopia's visit follows his trip to Jordan. After concluding his engagement in Addis Ababa, the Prime Minister is scheduled to travel to Oman, completing his three-nation four-day tour. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mohamed Ali Yusuf, received the British ambassador to Ethiopia and the African Union, Darren Welch, at the African Union headquarters. The two officials exchanged views on key continental development with a particular focus on peace and security issues, as well as the strategic partnership between the African Union and the United Kingdom. Ambassador Welch underscored the United Kingdom's strong support for the primacy of the African Union intervention, management, and resolution of conflict on the continent. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to continued cooperation in support of African-led solution, shared peace and security objectives, and strengthens AU and UK relations. The Board of Directors of the African Development Fund has approved a $9.38 million grant to Tanzania to enhance climate resilience in the Mukondwa catchment, a critical water resource area increasingly affected by floods and drought. Approved on 12 December 2025, the project will be financed through the ADF's Climate Action Window and aims to protect vulnerable communities and key infrastructure while improving water security and livelihoods. The project will directly benefit about 774,000 people in the districts of Gairo, Kilosa, and Vuvero through interventions such as strengthened early warning systems, climate-resilient infrastructure, and the restoration of 1,200 hectares of degraded watersheds. Implementation by the Wami Basin Water board under Tanzania's Ministry of Water is set to begin in January 2026, creating an estimated 3,500 temporary jobs and 1,000 long-term jobs with a strong focus on women and youth. The initiative is expected to reduce flood and drought impacts, improve water availability for households and agriculture, and protect the strategic Morogoro-Dodoma road, contributing to poverty reduction and sustainable economic growth. President Duma Gideon Bok officially launched the Greater Gaborone Traffic Management System under the Botswana Integrated Transport Project, describing it as a major step in modernizing how we manage urban mobility and public safety. The centralized smart system integrates traffic lights, surveillance cameras, speed enforcement, and real-time monitoring into a single control center. According to the President, this will enable proactive traffic management, faster incident response, and improved road safety across Greater Gaborone and surrounding settlements. Through data-driven coordination, we are easing congestion, reducing accidents, shortening travel time, and enhancing the daily experience of commuters, President Boko said. This initiative strengthens public safety, improves productivity, and supports smarter, more efficient urban environment. The President added that the Botswana cities continue to grow, embracing intelligent transport solutions will build resilience, improve quality of life, and move the country confidently into the future. Mauritania has signed two major financing agreements with the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development valued at 32 million Kuwaiti dinars to support key transport and water infrastructure projects. The agreements were signed in Nouakchott by the Minister of Economic Affairs and Development, Abdullahi Sulaiman Sheikh Sidiya, in the presence of the Minister of Equipment and Transport, Eli Ould El Viriki, and the Minister of Hydraulics and Sanitation, Amal Mint Maulud. The first agreement, amounting to 20 million Kuwaiti dinars, will finance two transport projects: the rehabilitation of the 120-kilometer Tintani-Toli road via Ain Varba and the construction of a 45-kilometer road linking Rikis to El Bozol, aimed at improving connectivity and stimulating regional development. The second agreement, worth 12 million Kuwaiti dinars, will fund the Aftot Israeli water project in Nouakchott, expanding drinking water storage, pumping, and transport capacity to supply an additional 75,000 cubic meters per day by 2030. Minister Sidiya praised Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development's pivotal role in supporting Mauritania's development, noting that the agreements reinforce a long-standing and fruitful partnership, while Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development Managing Director Fawzi Youssef Al-Hanif said the financing will help lay foundation for the country's economic and social progress. The African Development Bank and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development have published the Tunisia Entrepreneurial Profile 2025, a joint study providing comprehensive assessment of Tunisia's entrepreneurial ecosystem and identifying key levers to unlock private sector-led growth and job creation. Financed by the United Kingdom Embassy and developed in collaboration with the Tunisia government, the report highlights both the strengths and structural challenges facing entrepreneurs, while offering practical recommendations to guide public reforms and promote a more competitive and inclusive business environment. The Tunisia Entrepreneurial Profile 25 provides Tunisian authorities with a unique data set to inform policies supporting entrepreneurship and micro enterprises, said Roderick Drummond, United Kingdom High Commissioner to Tunisia, noting that the importance of evidence-based policymaking. Marlene Bloomberg, African Development Bank Deputy Director General for North Africa and Country Manager for Tunisia, emphasized that the report offers a solid evidence base to design targeted programs that stimulate investment, enterprise growth, employment, and economic inclusion. The study combines economic data, field service, and sectoral diagnostics to identify priority actions, including improving access to finance for MSMEs, integrating business into value chains, promoting women's entrepreneurship, and modernizing support service for emerging and established enterprises. Guinea is in discussion with Emirati Global Aluminum over a potential bauxite supply agreement that would allow the company to source aluminum feedstock from Nimba Mining, Guinea state-owned firm, according to sources familiar with the matter. Talks followed the Guinea government's decision in July to revoke the mining license of Guinea Alumina Corporation, an EGA subsidiary, after a prolonged dispute over the construction of an alumina refinery. GAC's assets were subsequently transferred to Nimba Mining, and a supply deal could help avert legal action threatened by EGA. EGA has invested more than $1 billion in GAC, which exported up to 40 million metric tons of bauxite annually at its peak. Sources said EGA's refinery in the United Arab Emirates is specifically engineered to process GAC's ore, making Guinea's supply strategically important for the company. Guinea, the world's second-largest bauxite exporter, has stepped up efforts to assert greater state control over its mining sector, mirroring similar moves by military-led governments in the Sahel. In late October, Nimba Mining began exporting 1.5 million tons of bauxite stockpiled by GAC before the license withdrawal, and has so far shipped 680,000 tons, according to its management. Nimba Mining plans to resume full-scale mining this month, targeting 10 million tons of exports in 2026 and eventually ramping up to 40 million tons. Guinea hosts the world's largest bauxite reserves and continues to attract major global investors, including Rio Tinto, Refusal, and Chinese mining companies. Five days before the first ball is kicked at the Total Energy SCAF Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025, the tournament is already underway, not in the stadiums but at Morocco's airports. From the Casablanca to Rabat, Marrakesh to Tangier, arriving fans are being welcomed by giant AFCON branded footballs, LED screens, and bold visuals announcing that Africa has gathered. As tens of thousands of supporters arrive ahead of opening match between hostess Morocco and Comoros on Sunday in Rabat, Morocco's airport network has entered full AFCON mode. The transformation is part of a nationwide campaign led by National Airports Office under the theme Welcome Football, Welcome Fans, in coordination with SCAF and the local organizing committee. Beyond the spectacle, the preparation reflects months of planning and infrastructure upgrades. Authorities have expanded capacity, modernized passenger flows, strengthened security, and deployed additional staff and volunteers with support from multiple government agencies. Dedicated welcome zones, multilingual signage, and real-time monitoring systems are in place in all host cities. For many fans, the experience is the tone for the tournament. It feels like the tournament starts the moment you land, said one supporting arrival in Casablanca, echoing sentiments shared by visitors from across the continent who described the process as smooth, festive, and welcoming. As Morocco hosts the 35th edition of AFCON, its first in 37 years, the airport experience is being positioned as the opening chapter of the competition. With an eye on the future global events, including the 2030 FIFA World Cup, Morocco is signaling its ambition to deliver not just matches, but a complete continental welcome, where AFCON begins the moment Africa arrives. That concludes our broadcast on POE News for this hour. Thank you for joining us and stay with us for more updates from Africa.